शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये. Om. Dear friends, shloka number 7 of the second adhyaya, that is Sankhya Yoga, shloka number 7, that is Karpanya Doshopahata Swabhavaha. That is said to be the Sharanagati Vakyam, where Arjuna has surrendered himself before Lord Krishna. And he also says, one more shloka is there from the side of Arjuna before Krishna starts. He says, Arjuna says, Nahi prapashyami mama apanudyat yat shokam uchoshanam indriyanam avapya bhuma vasapatnamruddham rajyam suranam apichadhipatyam. He says, even if I am going to get the kingdom of all the three worlds, Rajyam Suranam apichadhipatyam, even if I am going to get the kingdom of the Sura means all the gods, that is what we call Devendra, that heavenly kingdom. Even if I am going to get, still I don't see any remedy for the sorrow which I am having. Because the sorrow which I am having is something so deep. I am not na prapashyami mama apanudyat yat shokam. I am not seeing that remedy. I am not finding anything which is going to take away. Apanudyat. Apanudati means takes away. Mama apanudyat, this shoka, I don't see anything which is going to take away this shokam, this sort of sorrow, which is actually scorching my indriyas. Yat shokam, uchoshanam. Uchoshanam means it is actually burning, it is scorching my entire body, my mind, my senses, my body. It is actually scorching my entire self, my entire being. Avapya bhuma vasapatnamruddham. Even if I am going to get the entire earth, kingdom of the rule over the entire earth, even if I am going to have the kingdom over the entire earth, asapatnam. Asapatnam means without rivalry. Sapatna means a rival. Asapatnam means without rival. Even if I am going to get an unrivaled authority over the entire earth, or even if I were to get the heavenly kingdom, even then, even with all that also, I am not going to see any end to my misery. I am not going to see anything which is going to take away my sorrow. Very strongly he is saying, my sorrow is so deep. So now, Sanjaya Uvacha. Now Sanjaya is saying, Sanjaya is the man, we know that he is the sort of war correspondent. He is telling Dhritarashtra. So he says, Eva muktva Hrushikesham Gudakeshah Parantapah Nayotsya iti Govinda muktva Tushnim babhuvaha. So he says, he also uses certain words which need noticing. Eva muktva Hrushikesham Gudakeshah Parantapah. The words are also interesting. Gudakeshah Parantapah. Gudakeshah, we got this word even earlier. Gudaka means laziness. Gudakeshah means one who has conquered laziness, one who is very, very alert, one who is somebody, Jita Nidraha, Jita Alasyaha, that is one who has conquered laziness, one who has conquered all types of, let us say, lethargy. So, and Parantapaha. Parantapa is somebody who is the destroyer of the enemies. Parantapaha. That is enemy destroyer. That is what he is. Gudakesha, Parantapa. And he told whom? Hrushikesham. And he is telling again, Hrushikesha. Hrushika means Indriya. Indriyanam Niyamakaha. The person who is the controller of all the Indriyas, the person who is the illuminer, the person who is going to give you light, the person who is going to remove your confusion, the person who is going to give you knowledge. So he is that Hrushikesha. Hrushikesha is not simply somebody who is just Indriyanam Niyamakaha. It means that he is the person who is going to give you knowledge. So when Gudakesha, very, very alert man, he is telling Hrushikesha, and naturally Hrushikesha will resolve his moral confusion. That sort of dhvani, in any poetry or in any kavyam, you get this word called dhvani. Dhvani means the character is using a particular word which has certain connotations. That connotation is called what is called dhvani. So here Arjuna says, Na yotsya iti Sanjaya is saying, Na yotsya iti Govinda muktva tushnim babhuvaha. So what did Arjuna do? Arjuna, he said, Na yotsya. Na yotsya means, I am not going to fight. Iti Govindam muktva. Govinda. Again, this word also commentators have commented on every word, the etymology of every word. As I told you in the beginning, I am also telling these etymologies because, as I said, I have to give you value for your time. So that is Gam Veda Lakshanam Vanim Vindati. Gam Veda, go has got different meanings. If you see a book called Niruktam, Niruktam is a book which tells about how the Vedic words have to be understood. So it explains the meanings of several words in various contexts. For example, go, the word go, not only when we only know one meaning normally. Go means a coverable. That is a normal meaning we know. Go also means indriyas, that is the sense organs. Go also means bhumi. So here, go also means Veda. Gam Veda Lakshanam Vanim Vindati. That is, he is the fountainhead. He is the fountain from which the entire Vedic knowledge has flown. So that is where Vedic knowledge flows. So he is that Govinda. And Govinda, he is not going to keep quiet. He is the man who is the, from whom the entire Vedic knowledge flows. Means the Vedic knowledge consists of what is dharma and what is adharma. There are two levels of dharma. What is called a pravrutti dharma, and the other level is nivrutti dharma. Pravrutti dharma means how a person has to conduct himself in society. Nivrutti dharma means how a seeker has to go in the path of knowledge. That is that nivrutti dharma. So he is the person, Krishna is the person, or rather that supreme reality is the person from which the entire knowledge flows. So such a person is definitely going to give a positive direction. He is going to put Arjuna in the right frame of mind. So that sort of hint we see in this particular shloka. Then now Sanjaya is further saying, Tamuvacha Hrushikesha Prahasanniva Bharata Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Vishidantamidam Vachaha. So Tam Uvacha Hrushikesha. Hrushikesha Arjunam Uvacha. That is Hrushikesha, that lord of the senses. He instructed Arjuna, he spoke like this. And Prahasanniva, as though he was laughing. When do we laugh at somebody? When somebody does some sort of inappropriate action. When somebody, what he is not supposed to do, suppose he does. A person who is in a high place, suppose he does some silly thing. And it is a thing which, it is a situation where people laugh at him. So, Prahasanniva. And here, Krishna is not really ridiculing him. As though he is laughing at him, as though he is saying, he is just trying to say that you have committed a mistake, you have done something wrong. That is the meaning here. Prahasanniva, just laughing, as though laughing at his sort of inappropriate behavior, just to make him realize his inappropriate reaction, inappropriate response. So, Prahasanniva Bharata, Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Vishidantam. A person who is just sitting in such miserable condition, in such sorrowful condition, with eyes full of tears. So now it is Arjuna, it is Krishna's duty to give him some guidance. Idam vachaha. Now from here, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. So here we use Prahasanniva Bharata. So Tamuvacha Hrushikesha Prahasanniva Bharata. So this word Bharata also is something which needs some, it is explained by people. Bharata means somebody who is born in that Bharata clan, Bharata Vamsha. And we know that, for example, Lord Rama, etc., Rama, Lakshmana, etc., their Vamsha is called Surya Vamsha. It is also called Raghu Vamsha because there was a very, very famous king called Raghu. So otherwise, it is otherwise called Surya Vamsha and also called Raghu Vamsha. Similarly, the Pandavas, their Vamsha is called Chandra Vamsha. It is supposed to be a lunar lineage, that is a solar lineage. And sometimes it is also called Bharata Vamsha because one very, very great person called Bharata was born in this particular, the entire lineage of kings. And who is that Bharata? Of course, there are two Bharatas in our tradition. That is, one is son of Vishwamitra and Menaka. We know that Vishwamitra was doing tapas. That also is a very interesting thing. We find that story in the Ramayana. Vishwamitra was doing tapas. He had some sort of dispute, or rather some sort of spardha. Spardha means some sort of competition with Vasishtha. He could not defeat Vasishtha with all his physical might. The fight between Vishwamitra and Vasishtha, it is actually a symbolic fight. It is a symbolic fight between Sattva-guna and Rajoguna. So with all his Rajoguna and with all the capacity of Rajas, he could not conquer Sattva-guna. So he has to develop that Sattva-guna within himself. He has to develop Sattva-guna within himself. Once he develops Sattva-guna within himself, then there is no competition at all. Then he will lose that even the very idea of defeating Vasishtha. Once he also is endowed with that Sattva-guna, Vishwamitra is in no mood to go and defeat, because Vishwamitra, he also becomes a saint, he also gives up enmity, he also looks at Vasishtha as another manifestation of Brahman. So he told that a very idea of competition drops. So long as the idea of competition and so long as the idea of winning is there, Vishwamitra is in that Rajoguna. So when that Vishwamitra was doing tapas, then Indra is somewhat like a person who is an invigilator. Indra is not somebody who disturbs all people who are doing tapas. Indra should know, even in our films we see that Indra is a person who is ridiculed in our films. Whenever somebody is doing some tapas, Indra is said to be sending some damsel he sends Urvashi, Menaka, etc. He sends and he tries to disturb the tapas. It is not as though he is disturbing the tapas. He is actually testing how far these people have got control on Kama, Krodha, etc. So that is what we have to see there. So then when Menaka was sent at that particular time, he had not yet conquered Kama, who Vishwamitra had not yet conquered Kama. So he spent some time with that lady and they get a son, that Bharata, the Shakuntala, that lady, and Shakuntala, who is born to, who gets married to Dushyanta, they get a son called Bharata. So that is how that Bharata Vamsha is there. So that he is supposed to be one of the very, very important persons in this. But Bhagavatam, we see another character called Bharata, a very great king. Some people say that no, it is from that Bharata. Anyway, we need not go into that dispute. So Bharata means a person who has descended from that clan. So this word Bharata, we are going to see Krishna is using it to Arjuna, he is using it to, and Dharmaraja and all the people, they can be called Bharata. Anybody who is born in that Bharata clan is called Bharata. And of course Bharata Desham, Bharat Desham is, we are all people who are supposed to have been ruled by this Bharata kingdom, or rather King Bharata at one point of time. And Bharata, there is another meaning also they do give. That is, Bha means Prakasham. Prakasham is light. Prakasha is the light. Bha is Prakasha, this Kanti as we say. Light means knowledge. That is, light is knowledge. Light symbolizes knowledge. Bharata. Bhayam Ratihi. Yasya. Sa Bharata. That is a person who is having a passion for knowledge. Bharata means people who Bharata, we are all Bharata, Bharatiya when we say, we are all people who have passion for knowledge. So that meaning also is there. Bharata, Bhayam Rataha Bharataha. A person who has that passion, love for knowledge. So that Bharata, Prahasanniva Bharata. So then now Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Now Sri Bhagavan is again telling, Ashocyan Anvashocastvam Prajnavadanscha Bhashase Gatasun Agatasuncha Nanushocanti Panditaha. He is saying, Ashocyan Anvashocastvam. You are grieving for those who don't deserve to be, where that grief should not be there. You are unnecessarily grieving for the people who don't deserve to be grieved. Not that Bhishma, Drona, etc., they deserve to be killed and whatnot. It is a misplaced idea. The idea that they are all going to die, it is something wrong. He says they are not going to die. Atma is something which is permanent. Atma is, now Krishna is talking from a slightly different level. He is trying to say, you are thinking that Bhishma, Drona, etc., all these people are going to die. Strictly speaking, there is no death to Atma. The basic idea is, strictly speaking, there is no death to Atma. That is what he is going to say. That means what is called Atmas, tentatively we can say, we can take it as, in English we use the word called self. Sometimes it is also translated as soul, but many people, they don't like that word soul, because that word soul has got a different connotations in some other religions. Because if you use the word soul, Christians have got their own concept of a soul. Some other religion, they may have their own concept of soul. So when we use the word soul, for an outside reader, it totally gives a different meaning. So it is better to translate it as self. So Atma, that is, we are now talking about Jivatma. Jivatma is something which is not going to die. So that is what he is going to say. For that, of course, I am going to give some introduction maybe tomorrow. But right now I will just tell the meaning of this particular shloka. Ashocyan Anvashocastvam. You are unnecessarily grieving for the people who should not be you should not be grieving. And Prajnavadanscha Bhashase. Prajnavadan. Prajna means intelligence. Prajnavada means You are talking like an intellectual. Many people, without knowing, they keep on talking. So you are just talking like a scholar. You are talking about rebirth. You are talking about punyam. You are talking about papam. You are talking about naraka. You are talking about various other things like varna sankara, etc., etc. You are using all great words without knowing the actual implication, without knowing the actual meaning of them. And gatasun, agatasunschа. Gatasu means those who have departed. Agatasu, that means those who are still alive. Na anushojanti panditaha. Panditaha, they are not going to grieve. They are not going to grieve either for the living or for the dead. Who? The Panditas. Who are these Panditas? Panditas, not necessarily scholars. Pandita means what type of scholarship? That is Panda. Where the commentators have written, Panda means Jnanam. Atma Vishayakam Jnanam. Panda Atma Vishayakam Jnanam. Yasyasti sa Panditaha. That is, what is this Atma Vishayakam Jnanam? That is the knowledge of the self. And what is that knowledge of the self? The knowledge that Atma is something which has no death, which has no birth. And how is this Atma have no death, no birth, etc. And what is the nature of Atma? Some little bit of introduction is very much needed there. That is what is called Jiva, Jivatma, and why it is said to be something which is not dying, etc. We have to see. And for that, I have to tell you some little bit of theory. We all know, theory means something which is also in our experience, not something which is not in our experience. We all know that a living being, of course we know about human beings, we don't know about all other beings. A human being, we have got three states. That is what is called Jagrad Avastha, then Swapna Avastha, and what is called Sushupti or deep sleep. Jagrad Avastha means that is waking state. Swapna Avastha means that is the dream state. And what is called the deep sleep state, where even the dream also is not there. So these three avasthas, the entire human knowledge or the entire human experience, let us say, not knowledge, let us say human experience. The entire human experience is only through these three states. Beyond this, there is no other state. There is what is called Jagrad Avastha all through the day. All my mind is very active. My mind is very active. My sense organs are very active. I am looking at things. I am feeling. I am smelling. I am feeling the sparsha. I am listening, and all my five sense organs are functioning. So my sense organs, they are furnishing so much of information to my mind. So all this is happening, and all this thing is happening under the influence of what is called consciousness or knowledge. Suppose my eye is seeing something. So that means behind that seeing, there is what is called intelligence. So intelligence is actually guiding the eye. And my nose is smelling something. And behind this sense organ called sense of smell, then again there is intelligence. Intelligence is there behind the sense of smell. Intelligence is there behind the sense of sight. Intelligence is there behind the sense of touch. Similarly, intelligence is there behind the sense of the other taste. So like that, intelligence is something which is common. Intelligence is not different. That is, the consciousness or intelligence which is seeing, it is the same consciousness which is also smelling, which is also feeling the touch, it is also tasting a thing. So the same intelligence is what is illumining all the five senses. So that is one thing which we have to understand first. That is, consciousness or intelligence is one. It is somewhat like electricity. Electricity, if you put in a bulb, the bulb will glow. And if it is some tube light, the tube light will glow. Or if it is a fan, the fan will rotate. If it is a fridge, the fridge will function. So the same electricity is functioning in so many things. So similarly, the consciousness is one, whereas the sense organs may be different. Sense organs may be getting different types of information, and all this information is consolidated or processed in the mind. So, but the intelligence is same. And that is what we see in the wakeful state, or what is called Jagrad Avastha. The same thing we are going to see in the Swapna Avastha. We will see tomorrow what is the Swapna Avastha and what is that Sushupti, etc. We will see, just to have an idea about what this consciousness is. Because this consciousness studies is something which was done by our ancients right from the time of Upanishads. This is something which is surprising. This consciousness studies which modern science and scientists they talk about now It is something which was discussed even at the time of our Upanishads. So we'll see tomorrow. Harihi Om Tat Sat.